Tuesday on NBC. Jimmy Fallon and Bozoma St. John host the highly anticipated new competition show.
I hired 10 creatives from all walks of life. They will be battling it out to see who can impress the world's biggest brands.
This is a huge opportunity.
This is the battle for the next big idea.
This is not play.
We're spending millions of dollars.
I'm so excited to embark on this adventure with all of you.
May the best idea win!
On Brand with Jimmy Fallon. Series premiere Tuesday on NBC.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
Hey, this is William Tincup and Ryan Leary. You are listening and hopefully watching the You Should Know podcast. Today we have Marisa on and a fantastic topic. So what we're going to be talking about is the intersection or the relationship between anxiety, growth, and improvement. And during pre-show, we were already doing the podcast, unbeknownst to everyone else. We just didn't hit record.
All the good stuff is already done.
It's
all crap from here.
It was all left on the cutting room floor. But anyhow, Marisa, would you do us a favor and introduce yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. Well, thank you both, William and Ryan, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here and a treat to be able to speak with your audience. So thank you for listening. My name is Marisa Valente. I am an executive coach and a strategist with the Center for Modern Workforce Strategy. I've been working in this space of executive coaching with a particular focus and priority on sort of progressive employment and workplace strategies, which are meant to sort of help evolve the workplace strategies that were put in place that are a little bit more more finely attuned to industrial revolution era work versus knowledge work or work that is informed or led by technology. And I cut my teeth in the space working in finance. So I worked at Morgan Stanley at the very beginning of my career and then moved into the hedge fund and private equity space in a number of senior human resources roles. A lot of people, when they ask me, what do? I say, if you've ever seen the show Billions on Showtime, I'm the character Wendy. That's the best way to sort of locate me in the space. And I feel really privileged to have met with and support an absolutely remarkable cohort of professionals who are doing big things in the world. And we're all in the fight together to figure out how to do it well and not make it hurt.
I was going to ask, to define executive coach as we kick off, because I think I have a vision of what, I mean, it feels like it's common sense for me, but some people may not have a real understanding of what an executive coach is.
That's a very good question. It's very amorphous because coaching as a profession is actually unregulated. There is a regulatory-ish body called the International Coaching Federation, or ICF, of which I'm a member. But it's not therapy. That's the most important thing, right? But coaching and therapy have a lot of intersections.
My definition is long gone then. You killed me.
Yeah. Oh, what was your definition, Ryan? I'm curious.
Therapy.
Okay.
No.
Productivity.
Productivity, but therapy, because I have mentors and not coaches, but someone who kind of acts that way. But I almost look at it as therapeutic. Even though the coaching isn't, right? I understand that part. But the outcome, I feel, sometimes is therapeutic. And it's just, okay, I feel better now. I'm good. And I can move on with my day.
We want you to feel that way. That's totally in scope, totally.
I kind of feel like I'm way off, though.
You're not.
They're not prescribing medications. So let's just make sure that we cover that part.
Not prescribing medications. So here's the key difference, Ryan. What you said is, I want to feel better and I want to have a therapeutic experience with my coach. That's my goalpost. Hopefully, yes, right? If you're leaving feeling worse, we haven't done our job very well. The difference between coaching, as I think ICF would define it, is coaching is oriented toward the future. Let's help you look out into the horizon and help you have a little bit more of a clear direction on where you're trying to go and how you need to sort of be moving your rudder, if you're in a boat, to sort of put you in the direction that you intend. The difference between that and therapy is therapy often has a backward-looking component to it. We want to sort of sit down as therapists and look at your childhood and dissect your relationships with your parents or those kinds of things. That is out of scope for coaching. Right. That's the kind of key difference. But it's not incorrect to say I should feel better or supported after I had a conversation with a coach as well as with a therapist. A lot of people tell me that it feels therapeutic. That's a compliment, and that's
is there any benefit for a person that you're working with for them to have their therapist and coach communicate with one another?
Very interesting question. Potentially. I've never had that request. Nobody's ever asked me, please speak with my therapist, but
I just wondered if they could, like, if you HIPAA, okay, we get past that stuff. But
probably from a HIPAA standpoint, you wouldn't be allowed to. The therapist probably wouldn't be able to share with me anything that the client had shared with them.
Right.
But I will say many of my clients are in therapy as well as working with me as an executive.
Yeah. They're just trying to get better. It's trying to, like, again, it's not self-help. They're trying to get better. People that they're wired to always be improving. Always trying to figure out, like, the next thing that they want to improve on themselves. From a personal side, it could be therapy. From a professional side, it could be coaching. Real basic question. Can you coach someone that doesn't want to be coached?
No, impossible.
Right. So they've got to want it.
Yeah.
So how do we get them? How do you know? Because you've been doing this for a while, both with your roles in HR and now. How do you know someone wants to be coached? Like, they're really willing to put in the work or whatever the bit is. Because I can see someone saying they want to be coached.
Hey, everybody. Got a quick question for you. Is your job easy, stress-free, and full of rainbows and sunshine every single day? Yeah, I'd say that's a big fat no. Hi, I'm David Noe, host of Speakeasy HR, presented by Payroll Partners, and proud to be part of the Work-Defined community. Take a step down into my Speakeasy live on LinkedIn and YouTube, where we tackle HR and business challenges through raw, uncut, unfiltered conversations. This is HR like you've never heard it before. Bold, real, and full of practical takeaways. Real guests, bold insights, authentic conversations that drive change. Catch every episode on demand through your favorite podcast platform or all the content at speakeasyhr.com.
I'm really talking about myself now. So again,
I'm going to sit back. I want to watch you.
I can see someone say that they want to be coached.
Coaching.
I have zero interest. I have zero interest.
That's it. We're changing the layout. You are going to coach William, and I'm
zero interest in being coached. But you know what I'm talking about. You've interacted with these folks, right? So if you can't coach someone that doesn't want to be coached, how do you get them onto their next thing? Because they're not going to get anything out of it, right? So how do you kind of graduate them or move them on to whatever they're going to do next?
Right. So that's a really powerful question, William. And what I would say that's very interesting, unique about coaching, and a difference between my having worked in-house for a firm where I was an HR person and people would be sent to speak to me in certain scenarios versus my work as an independent executive coach is people come to find me. Nobody gets sent to me like they're going to the principal's office.
Right.
People, I get my clients referred to me through recommendations, or I work for a firm that has an internal coaching platform that is available as a resource to the employees. And so if they're dealing with something complex and they want to be supported, they go into this platform and do a search and find a coach who they think is well positioned to help them. But there's always a component of opt-in. There's no forcing mechanism with coaching.
Right.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go. Finish your thought.
I was just going to say, typically, in large firms, coaching is usually a gift to people who are considered high potential, and it's meant as a propeller to sort of send them to the next level. Because coaching just, realistically can be very expensive. And so most often organizations don't want to invest in employees who are on the fringe or show signs, like William said, of having to be sent to the principal's office rather than given a little bit of extra tutoring because they're potentially going to solve the big equation, right?
Right. So now that Marisa stole my question and answered it already,
As she should.
that was my question was, are you finding that people are resistant when being referred by their company, or do they understand, William, you're high potential, you just need some help. Like, we're going to get you there, you're high potential, we actually see you as leadership. You're not getting pushback from those people.
Does the phrase high potential, does that rub anyone the wrong way?
It can feel insulting a little bit.
So what happens?
I feel like I'm being judged right now.
I think you're being judged. I think I'm judging you. So if you're
high potential, Ryan and William, would you call yourselves high potential?
If everyone's high potential, the word means nothing, right? So if you say that some are high potential, then you're also saying, the organization is also saying that there are low potential people, right? By not saying it.
Yeah,
right?
Well, same thing as performance, right? Performance, high performers, low performers. Yeah. Every company needs average people.
So you're making an argument that I've argued forever, is that a team of all A players doesn't win.
It's true.
You need some C players in there, in the mix. And I've had resistance. I've had actually people that are in the learning and training space go, no, you can make that work. I'm like, no. You need some C and D players in there. You need some low performers.
Yeah. I kind of feel like, okay, so Marissa's probably listening to us and saying, what the hell did I get into? But
no, she's
all right,
not.
so this is a real scenario, and maybe you can actually help me in front of everybody.
Let's do it.
Back in the corporate days when I was with IBM, we had to go through our ratings, right? So 1 through 5, but you couldn't have too many 1s as top performers, couldn't have too many 5s, couldn't have too many in the middle. So I had to follow, right? I had to follow a prescribed path to rank my set of employees, the people that worked in my group, within these 1 to 5s, and it had to fall within.
Yeah.
And so I had trouble with that. I had trouble with that because I understood, okay, you need so many high performers. If we're going to get to this level, here's where this person goes. If we got to make a cut, these are the people on the cutting block.
It's just a horrible way to look at performance.
Totally.
I agree
Anyhow,
with that.
Marissa, you're the expert.
That's my question to Marissa is, I don't know that this is exactly what you're coaching, but in my situation, I didn't know what to do there. And it created a lot of anxiety for me. I remember those days.
Yeah, so that kind of thing doesn't come up in my coaching a lot. And that reason why is because most of my clients find me at a point where they've already said, this is crazy, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I don't want to work at an organization that makes me make decisions that are unnatural and basically zero sum. That is beyond my sort of space where I feel like I can be in integrity as a human being, as a leader, and I want to do something different. And I will say many firms, I've worked at firms that have done that. Many firms have evolved their practices beyond that in the last, 5 to 10 years. And yet there are still many that do it, and it is anxiety producing. Absolutely. So what did you do in that scenario when you had a hard time?
Gave them all 3s.
You became a podcaster.
I did. Well, actually, not far off. Not far off, not gonna lie. I that was my last corporate job.
Yeah.
That was my last corporate job. Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't the reason, but I think that has a lasting impression on me that if I were to go back into corporate,
you'd be thinking about it.
I would be thinking about that, right? Yeah, I would be thinking about that, and similar to how a CHRO may not go into an organization that's using a specific subset of technologies. I would not be able to go into an organization that required me to do that.
Right.
Yeah. I remember that vividly, and I didn't like the feeling. Not that I didn't like managing the people in the group.
Dude, I'd have given everybody threes and just moved on.
That process. You weren't allowed.
You can't. You're not allowed to usually. It's a forced curve.
Or I would have done it blind. So I would have just taken the names off the thing and just filled it out, turned it in, and said, and.
I'm not saying I didn't do that.
So, Marisa, quick question as we get into anxiety. What's the relationship between stress and anxiety? Or, first of all, let me not be assumptive. Is there a relationship between stress and anxiety?
That's a very, very big question.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
In 30 seconds. Yeah.
I'm going to actually turn the question back to either you or Ryan, because what I'm going to just say is that answer depends on the individual. So how would you define the relationship in your own life? So
it's been explained to me, and I think I agree with it, that stress is the same today as it was 10,000 years ago. There are different stressors. Mm-hmm. So back then you were afraid of being eaten by a dinosaur, or where you were going to get your next water, or where you're going to lay your head, or etc. But there was basically a cadence to stress. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the cadence to stress right now, well, I have a roof over my head. I'm not really worried about food or water or any of those other things. I'm worried about other things, like my kids going off to college. Okay, so I've got a stressor around that, but it's not like stress grew. Right. It's just different. Mm-hmm. So I look at anxiety. The things that cause me anxiety, I don't see a dot-to-dot relationship with stress, between anxiety and stress. Like my anxieties, probably because I'm acutely aware, I'm bipolar, and I'm acutely aware of the things that trigger me. Mm-hmm. And so, like, if I have anxiety, I understand the anxiety, and so it doesn't create stress.
Right.
Where I can have stress about something, like financial stress, that's different for me, it's different than anxiety. So, Ryan, do you have a
not very
similar?
Far? Yeah, not very far off. Probably very, very similar, to be honest. Yeah, I think there are things that I stress about, and nothing specific that I can think of, but just there are things that I stress about or get stressed because of.
See, I think society uses those words as synonyms.
But I don't think they are.
No, I don't either. But I think that if you were to walk around and talk to people at a grocery store and say anxiety, stress, and they'd say, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same stuff. Yeah. So, anyhow, back to the topic. Go ahead.
No, it's really, really powerful to hear your stories and how stress and anxiety show up in your life. And also, it's really beautiful to see how you've done the work to create sharper definitions between those two sort of energies in your life so that they're less stressful, actually. Like, oh, I feel this. I know what to do. It's like, I'm too cold. I better put a sweater on.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And you're observant. Again, it's like great golfers. They're attuned. I'm not. But they're attuned to their body in such a way. Like they can hit a shot and know, okay, my left elbow was up just an inch too high. Which is insane for me. That's insane. Right. I'm not in tune to my body. I'm attuned to my mind.
Right.
But the rest of my physical body, I'm clueless.
Right.
Like absolutely clueless. The next question around anxiety is because you've tethered it in a way that's really, really cool with growth and improvement. How do people make the most of their anxiety? I guess is the question that's underpinning for me. It's like, okay, well, if we're talking about improvement and growth, both can be positive things.
Yeah.
Anxiety, how do we turn that into a positive? How do we turn that into a mechanism?
Is it negative on
That's a great point.
Yeah, we look at it as negative, but I think that's just how it's been passed down, at least to me. You have anxiety,
in its
you're
native
bad.
state is anxiety neutral. And do we add to it either negative or positive to it? That's I don't know. That's a great one.
It's a really good question.
Now, Marisa, you got to tell us. Now you got to break it down for us.
Okay, so here's my frame on it. And again, this is my perspective is we can choose, right? It can be negative. It can be positive. It depends on what feels true for us in that moment. So if anxiety shows up for you and it feels really like a propeller, great, good for you. If it feels unbelievably negative, that's where we start. Okay, this is horrible. We've got to address you exactly where you are, which is in de-stress about anxiety, which is showing up in a negative way. For me, I would frame anxiety in the light of kind of like natural rhythms and patterns, right? So if we are in a period of high anxiety, which may be tipping us into a space of depression, for some, I've been through that, there is this, I think, beautiful parallel that you might draw to going into a winter season where it's appropriate to sort of, come inside and nest a bit, rest, reflect, sleep, be resourced in a way that is less sort of externally leaning.
Right.
Because you know that spring is going to come, but the winter needs to happen before spring can allow for the new growth and renewal to begin.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
The Hilton sale is on. For 10 days only, you can save up to 20% on stays this fall and beyond. Don't wait. The sale ends September 29th. Book your stay and save at Hilton.com. Terms apply. Hilton, for the stay.
So where the real anxiety and stress comes, and particularly in the West, a way that we run at 150 miles an hour without not ever stopping, we don't allow for seasons to happen. That there's this, it's not permitted, right?
Right.
What do you mean you have to slow down? That's not going to, allow for the bottom line to continue to grow and exponential.
It's seen as a weakness.
It's seen as a weakness, right?
Yeah.
And or potentially a risk, a liability, you're not hardworking, right? All these weird labels get put on people. But the reality is we are part of nature, just like a tree or a tulip and a bear, right? And so to try to believe that we are never supposed to slow down or have seasons of inward-looking experience would be to deny who we really are and how our bodies and minds need to work. And that's, to me, the frame that I would use in terms of positive or negative. Do you think winter is negative? I don't know. No.
Well, I do because I'm not a cold weather person. But do you schedule the reflective period? Because this is for Native American folks or indigenous people really all over the world. The winter months are absolutely a time of reflection. You go to all around the world, and basically it's the same thing from tribe to tribe. So that was kind of scheduled, at least pre-contact. That was scheduled. And again, for the listeners, for the before hunting season and before harvest and all those other things, it was a great time to reflect backwards and also to look forwards and kind of see what needs to change, if anything needs to change. It was also great family time, etc. The question I have is, in today in modern society, do you schedule reflection or do you allow reflection to happen when it happens?
Are you tired of talent and HR podcasts that sound like corporate training videos? Same. Talentless is the no-fluff show about hiring, leadership, culture, and what's actually going on in the world of work. Talentless is a podcast for recruiters by recruiters. Hosted by Desiree Goldie and Ashley King, they're smart, occasionally salty, and never afraid to say what everyone else is thinking. Listen wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe at talentlesspodcast.com.
Beautiful question. I'm going to annoy you probably by saying again, it depends on the person.
Marisa, you will not annoy me. You can't annoy me. Promise.
Well, how
I don't
come
have
I
that.
can?
I don't have.
It's not very fair.
No. We work together. Marisa, she's not going to annoy me. Anyhow, I interrupted. I apologize.
But I actually, Marisa, I knew you were going to say that because, well, you said it before, but two, because as he's asking the question, I'm thinking, no, I don't schedule. It's when it needs to happen for me, it kind of just forces me to do that. And it may be too late when that
crash
happens.
Or is that burnout?
No, I think long ago, maybe. Long ago, I'd hit the point of like, all right, can't take it anymore.
Yeah. Your body would say no more.
Right. Now, I think I've learned what that looks like. I learned I understand what good is for me, what bad is for me. And I think it just happens with age, right? And living through things. And now I understand and I could see what's happening when it's happening, and I can slow myself down and say, okay, whether it's work, relationships, friends, kids, like I can see it and I can stop. And then I kind of go into my own little happy land and I can reflect on whatever I need to. But I don't have a scheduled time like you were talking about.
Yeah, so when I hear you say that, Ryan, it reminds me of William's description of the golfer who knows that his elbow was an inch too high. You're really in tune with yourself. And so you don't need the schedule because you just know when you have to do it. I think for somebody who's less in tune with themselves, they might want to schedule it because they're less aware. Right. And if they have more of a schedule and not relying on that intuition, which is just a muscle, it gets sharper. Everybody can get sharper with it if they want to. The schedule will allow you to not get so out of date with yourself that you push into a space of anxiety that's more debilitating than, oh no, I've got to sit down and meditate for 20 minutes tonight. And I know if I don't, I will have a worse day tomorrow. Right.
And the way that we've talked about it, it's like inspiration. Like Ryan and I, we do a lot of tactical stuff that it irritates us. Like a lot of people, like I would say everybody, there's always some piece of work that you just don't like doing. Mm-hmm. And so it's almost like you have to be inspired to do that piece of work. And so that isn't scheduled. You just got to wait until that inspiration comes and then
it's like writing a research paper.
Yeah, go through that burst of energy, go through it, fight through it. There used to be a thing on my monitor years ago that really helped me. It was do first what you dread most. So I would come in every day and I would look at that and go, okay, what's the thing on my list that I'm absolutely hating? Okay, I'll go do that first. And when I do it, the rest of the day would open up.
So true.
It was never that hard. Whatever I'd built up in my mind, it was never that hard. Once I got through it, it was like,
So I'm looking
at the
day.
It's going to be easy.
I'm looking at the clock. We're 25.
You have anxiety?
We're 26 minutes into this conversation.
You have anxiety?
And I'm feeling like you and me, you and I, we just went to therapy.
No, we're being coached, dude.
We're being coached. Yeah. See how I used that the wrong way?
Yeah.
But but this isn't.
This is what she does with her clients.
Yeah.
She sneaks up on them like a ninja.
Yeah. It's she's like, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to let them continue to go down this hole and find themselves. And you kind of did, because when you were talking after I had shared, I kind of know when I feel it. I do kind of have schedule. I have fishing trips throughout the year, 3 of them that I know is in June, usually in September, and then in February. And I can cut my year up based on those. And I know I'm getting away and not having to do anything for 3 or 4 days each time.
When did you start scheduling those trips? What was the trigger?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. That was a long time ago. That's just because the group of guys that I'm with, they all go at that time. And we fish all year. But those are the times, that's it. No family, just us.
Yeah. And that's another dimension, I think, of anxiety that we overlook, that this is a little bit more subtle, but this notion of community has become a bigger deal for us lately because we are so independent and self-sufficient, and the internet allows us to be kind of fake connected to people, right?
Oh, 100%.
And so we lose ourselves, and we lose a lot of resourcing because we've almost tricked ourselves. It's like wearing headphones instead of listening to, an actual guitar player in a room with you. It's not the same thing, but it almost could be, right? And so without community and other people, like this group of guys who you go fishing with, and they're going to be like, what do you mean you're not coming in February with us?
Yeah.
That's big.
I get the shame.
Yeah, that keeps you really kind of on track with, you're not just doing this for yourself and, I'm being indulgent, I guess I really should just not go and work harder because that would be, quote, better. The community element of being together with people and doing things that make us feel good, not because we're intellectualizing it, but because it just feels good,
right.
is really ultimately, I think, what allows us to stay away from that space of anxiety and to be more on the other side of this sort of spectrum, which is well-being for no reason at all. Because so much of anxiety, we're like, why do I feel so bad? I can't put a finger on it. But we don't ask ourselves that question when we feel great. I bet when you're on the fishing trip with your guys, you're not thinking, God, why do I feel so good right now? You would never ask that, would you?
No. I have other thoughts. Kind of like
do I have to go back?
When there's 3-foot rollers, I'm like, what the hell am I doing out here? It's raining. It's been 6 hours. Yeah.
Haven't caught a fish.
There are some times.
I did have a question around anxiety, and in my career, I've both been addicted to change, and I've been around other people that have been addicted to change. Can someone be addicted to anxiety?
Of course, I think anybody could be. You can be addicted to anything.
Right. Can it be a good thing? And like we were talking about traders and kind of how they suppress or they use anxiety in a different way. I don't want to say suppress. It's probably not the right word. But they use anxiety to their betterment.
It's almost like a motivation.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Can you think of any other examples where people use anxiety to kind of motivate them in the right direction?
Oh my gosh, a million. I mean, as we were saying before, I am at my home in Hawaii, and I'm around a lot of people who like to be in the ocean, right? Who are surfers or innovating on foils or doing cool things like that. You are right up against forces that could totally take you down in a heartbeat, and it's what keeps them going. And it's what makes them, particularly where I live, there's some people who are doing some really interesting things with, as I said, moving from surfboards to foils and innovating the sport, and also innovating ways to take bigger risks and to stay safe, right?
Wow.
Like you dodged a great white today. I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or to say, I love this so much that I know there are sharks in this water, and I'm going to trust that I'm not going to get eaten, because chances are I won't, and yet it's always possible. I'm a swimmer in the ocean every day. That's what I say to myself. It's not.
So I want to ask you this question.
That's
this
fantastic.
Is related to what you just said, Marisa, but this is my sick mind thinking here. Do you have, or do you know people, use where you're at specifically, they don't feel a shark attack would ever happen to them because they're one with the shark? Like they care so much about the water, the ocean, the fish within, like they're not going to be attacked because it's kind of like pit bull owners, right? Like I love pit bulls. Yeah, but there's that moment where I'm like, I have a few friends that have pit bulls and they're super joke, like play with them, rub them, do everything. But I get within a foot, I'm like, I'm gonna stay back here a little bit, right? But I'm thinking like, we call them toothy critters. There's fish that have a lot of big teeth. And I have many pictures of slices on my hand. But in my mind at the time, I actually believe, no, he knows I'm taking the hook out of him and I'm going to put him back. He totally, like, we're friends. And then that sucker just latches on to me and it's not friends anymore.
Right, totally.
Is that delusional or is that like a thing?
No, I really think that's real, and certainly in
It's a free
Hawaii,
therapy session
there are
for me.
people who definitely have mastered that. I'm not one of them, definitely not. But I really do think we can come into relationship with anything if we can manage our own energy in a powerful way, including with the shark. I doubt that I will ever get to that level, but I've heard of people who have. I'm sure you have as well. And I believe it in the same way that your friends who have pit bulls really, really believe that this pit bull is never going to attack them because they have a relationship and there is that deep trust. And I think with anxiety within ourselves, we can do that as well. I really think when like William is triggered in some way and he knows what his triggers are, and yet sometimes he can't avoid the triggers. Now I've been triggered, but I know what to do. And I know I can get to the other side, and it's not necessarily comfortable or enjoyable, but I have resourced enough within myself. I'm around people who love me enough to help me through that, and it will be okay. So I think that is it. It's the relationship piece. William has a relationship with himself. He's been resourced. You're friends with the pit bulls, the shark masters, right? It's all about that relationship and that also being able to manage your own energy or not to be afraid of yourself, which is then going to project fear into, whatever's outside of you. Right. And that's just muscle building. It really is that simple.
Yeah, it's not nature versus nurture. It's not genetic. It's learned behavior.
Totally. Yeah.
So do you find that people that can manage anxiety, is there any relationship with spirituality or religion in any way?
Often, yes. I think that's a really powerful point to bring in. But not everybody. I know plenty of people, many
100%.
friends who are atheists or don't believe in God or what. I think that's fine. Whatever it is for you that allows you to believe that it's not just up to you. Is what I think ultimately allows people to feel like they can handle hard things.
Right.
I was raised in a family where I have some incredibly loving people who are, I would say, truly like mastered the art of unconditional love. And I'm not saying that the family that I came from is perfect, but there's definitely some skill around how to love people, including people who find themselves in hard circumstances where they might be considered unlovable. And they were still loved. And I think if you find yourself in community in whatever way with some people who can love you through the hard things, you can manage your anxiety. And sometimes you don't have that, and spirituality or religion can be a very powerful sort of substitute for that. But really what I'd boil that down to is just safety, right? It's not just up to you. You're not alone. You're held by something. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a God, maybe it's the sky, whatever you need, but that you're held. Because I do think that we as humans are not intended or designed to be self-sufficient, as we're so told. I really think that is actually going against nature. And when we can forgive ourselves for not having to be totally self-sufficient or not being great at it because we're not supposed to be, that's when some of the power comes back online where you can then manage some of the hard moments.
This self-sufficiency is getting back to nature and understanding that there's a relationship between you and trees and animals and the sky, the land, all of that type of stuff.
Yep.
Interesting.
Sounds like you have a relationship with nature yourself.
Yeah, I was taught that, it's just Cherokee philosophy is that there's...
Listen. That's the sound of the fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. The sound of captivating electric performance, dynamic drive, and the quiet confidence of ultra-smooth handling. The elevated interior reminds you this is more than an EV. This is electric performance, redefined. The fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron.
Man, spirit, land. So think of a Venn diagram with three circles. So man has relationship with spirit. Man has relationship with the land. The land has relationship with spirit. We don't know about that.
Oh.
So there's things that we know, and then there's things that we don't know.
Right.
And so, but it's all interconnected. And so a lot of tribes have the same kind of belief system, at least here in North America, that everything's interconnected.
Yeah.
Everything. So thinking of us being more than or self-sufficient in some way is just silly.
Totally.
Yeah, but that's just, I mean, that's just Cherokee philosophy. How do you, I say breakdown, that's not the right phrase, but when you're first working with a client that's just been referred into you, it's your first call, first couple calls, how are you trying to figure them out in terms of what they need? Because if they could express what they need, then I'd have to like, okay, is that actually what they need? Or do they know what they need? Or can they express what they need? So like, how do you, and I say map it, that's not the right phrase
What's
either.
the intake?
Yeah, how do you get to understand, okay, this is the things that they care about, and here are some of the things that clearly are missing and need to be worked on, etc. Like what's that process like?
Yeah, so it's a really good question, and thank you for it. It's very thoughtful because one of the really important sort of tenets of coaching is really high respect for the client and for facilitating and reflecting the client's own brilliance. That the coaches, different from therapists, don't have the answers, and we're going to tell you what's wrong with you and pathologize or whatever.
Right.
It's a very high respect process, and this is the benefit of also there being a little bit of structure and regulation around coaching, because we all learn how to do this in a way that is consistent across the industry. That we allow our clients, because it's often the case that they aren't necessarily used to being listened to, and to have a sort of a floor to just share whatever they need for as long as they need with somebody who is captive and committed to understanding them, or at least trying to. So you, William, might, as my new client, say, God, I have no idea how to be a coachee. I've never done this before, and yet I know it's a great thing, and I'm glad my company is paying for this, and I don't really know what to do, but this is all the stuff that's on my mind. And I say to them, great, then let's just have like a verbal, let it all out, take as long as you need. Don't worry about being coherent, maybe for the first time all week. Be as incoherent as you want. Leave nothing out. Say the things you think you can't say to anybody else. And my job is to listen really carefully and to notice what I notice, and to notice the patterns in what they're saying or the inconsistencies, and then to reflect back, this is what I heard you say. Did I get that right? Did I get that wrong? What in that reflection feels like something that you want to double click on? And from there, we kind of keep drilling down or peeling the layers of the onion further and further. And we start to, after we've built up a little bit of trust or let all the air out of the balloon as sometimes is necessary, start to distill a little bit more clearly, what do we want to work on? Because we can't boil the ocean, obviously, but we can cover a lot over. Usually my clients work with me over a 10-session arc, and we usually achieve some major changes over 10 sessions, and usually there's more after that, but we create a new arc, just like a new season in a TV show. Right. But that's how we start, and so it's very, very respectful of the client's own awareness and brilliance, even if they don't see it. And the coach's primary opportunity is to act as a mirror and a reflection of what they're hearing, because it's often the case, I'm sure you guys see it as well as podcasters, you don't always know what you're saying until you listen to yourself back, and you're like, oh, wow. Right?
Oh, right. Right.
To
you. Last question for me is, first of all, thank you. But there is a bit about therapists having a therapist, like a therapist that works with just only therapists. Are there coaches that just work with other coaches? Like, do you have a coach?
So I do have a whole cohort of other coaches who are my colleagues.
Right.
And we actually meet regularly to do sort of training. We like kind of do teach-ins for each other, and to also share thematically what we're seeing, what's challenging in our clients' sort of relationships, organizationally, how are we wanting to shift as individuals, and how do we leverage each other. On an ICF standpoint, there are sort of supervisory requirements to renew your license every couple of years. There's continuing education, and then there's also like you need to submit recordings of your coaching sessions to senior coaches to listen to and give you feedback. So yes, so there, do I have a coach? Yes, I do. I have a whole bunch of them actually. And you do really need it because you are, taking on a lot of emotion, and you also are human too, and you have your own things. So you want to make sure you don't let that seep into your relationships. But it's also a beautiful community of people who are trying to do the work. And I often say to my clients, I need you as much as you need me. You teach me as much as you feel I'm teaching you. And I want to thank you so sincerely for that, because we're all helping each other. We really are.
Drops mic.
Yeah.
Walks off stage.
Not much more we could say.
This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for carving out time for us, Marisa.
Oh,
it's been great for the audience. It's been great for Ryan and I.
Yeah.
Just thank you.
Thank you. I really loved it. You guys have a great energy. It made me feel so comfortable, and I get nervous sometimes being recorded. So thank you.
We're just jealous of you being in Hawaii. That's all this is about.
Yeah.
Just understand we'd rather be where you're at than where we're at. But
come on down and visit anytime.
Right. Live coaching, here we come. I'm in. No sharks or surfing for me, but I'll do live coaching session.
We'll do a coach session once we climb into the crater of the volcano. How about that?
There you go.
I'm game. I'm game for that. So,
okay.
All right, Marisa, thank you so much. And to the audience, we'll see you next time.